All right, let's get started. Hopefully my glasses aren't crooked, guys. If they're crooked, you can talk about me. I don't mind. You can put it in the comment section. Listen at you trying to say something with your crooked glasses. Listen, I understand. I could not get them to straighten up before I came in, but I need them on tonight because there are some important components of this talk that I've written down, and I want to make sure I get everything out. Listen, before I do anything, whether it's a talk, a conversation, or anything that I find valuable or important, I use a breathing technique. And tonight I want to use that same breathing technique. So wherever you are listening from around the world, here's what I want you to do. I want you to take a deep breath in, hold it, breathe out. One more time, take a deep breath in, hold it, breathe out. Now, here's why we do those breathing techniques, all right? You just gather the energy that you keep allowing to have access to your past, or your past to have access to. You've gathered the energy towards the possibility of a future that we're not yet working for, and we've brought it present with the energy that remain here in our present, bringing all three forces together, uniting them together to create synergy, which creates us. Therefore, we are present. And when we are present, that makes us able to be our best self. We can grab tools, we can grab techniques, we can grab strategies that have been locked within each and every one of us in order to create our present. Oh man, that smells, sound, walks, talk, thinks like purpose. My name is Clifton Pettyjohn. I am a transformation coach. I teach not individuals, I teach creators how to transform their lives through embracing the totality of their best self. Now, I promise you, I've thrown that term best self out there to you more than one time already, and there's a reason for me throwing it out there at you. We are going to revisit that term throughout our talk on today. Again, I want to express that I am grateful and honored to be sharing the stage with such awesome speakers. Listen, if you have enjoyed this weekend, put a little clap. You can put the clap in the comment section, or you can do a little clap right at home. Listen, nowhere will you find access to this many speakers that cover so many areas of expertise for a small investment. And I'm grateful to be a part of this movement. All right, so let's get into our talk on today. Now, I know some of you saw the talk and you probably were like, what does this have anything to do with business or anything at all? Listen, one of the greatest things I've learned in life is that I am weird. That's right. You heard me. I am weird. Now, if you're in here live or you're listening to the replay, I want you to type in I am weird if you can identify with the reality that you have either been classified as weird as by others, or you have had a heart-to-heart with yourself and you have said to yourself, listen, I'm weird. I want each and every one of you to understand that is not a negative connotation or connotation. Many times we have devoted, or we have only experienced the side of weirdness as it relates to being negative. So today, what we're going to do through this talk is we're going to flush past all of that, and we're going to begin to embrace our weird. We're going to be able to identify our weird, and we're going to embrace our weird. I want to tell you where this talk came from. Probably about a year ago, I was having a conversation with one of my friends, and this conversation became playful. And then while it became playful, we started calling each other names, okay? Just doing it out of a playful nature. Nothing was mean or vindictive behind it, but we started calling each other names. And one of the names that my friend called me was weird, and it triggered something inside of me. Why did it trigger something inside of me? Because it took me all the way back, and you'll see I talk a lot with my hands, back to my elementary days where people called me weird, and I began to call myself weird. And usually, now here was what was different about this time though. Usually when I revisit things like this, I revisit them from a space of hurt or a space of rejection or a space of isolation. Anger begins to rise up, all of those things. But something was different about this day. When he called me weird, my response was, he's right. I am weird. I am weird. And from that, I developed an acronym. I text him back an acronym connected to the word weird that I could identify with to flip the script or change the narrative, however you want to word it. I begin to change the narrative. And I want each and every one of you to understand how powerful you are. You have the innate ability within you to change the narrative about your life anytime you are willing and ready to do so. Now, listen, I'm getting excited. As you can see, I get very, very, very excited. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to slow it down just for a minute because I want to make sure we get everything across. How many, as I said, are enjoying this conference and enjoying the engagement and the networking? I'm telling you, I believe it was somebody that says our network will cause our net worth to rise. It will cause our net worth to rise. All right. So let's go. Here we go. Why are we here? I'm so glad that you asked why we are here. You guys are asking great questions already. Listen, okay. Today you will walk away from this session with, number one, a greater awareness of the importance of embracing and owning your weird. Embracing and owning your weird, as it is a major component to your identity and purpose. There's some trigger words there. Identity and purpose. Identity and purpose. Remember those words. Number two, you will walk away with the understanding of the relationship of your weird and your personality, purpose, gifts, talents, and abilities. Sometimes we've slept on our weird, and because we've slept on our weird, or we put our weird in a closet or put our weird in a room or packed it away or tried to explain it away, we don't understand that sometimes what we've done is we have locked up gifts, talents, and abilities that are connected to us. All right, let's keep going. You will walk away with a knowing of how your weird will work for your good in relationship to fulfillment and purpose. I talk a lot about success, but I believe that fulfillment is more important than success. We can experience success in any area of our lives. However, if we don't have that fulfillment, man, it will make success even lonelier. Some people say success is lonely. But the loneliest space is being successful, but having no inner fulfillment. So we're going to talk about how embracing our weird will help us there. And then number four, we will walk away with the knowing that embracing our weird creates a community of identity, education, freedom, and creativity. It creates a community about it, a community of it. All right. So let's go. All right. I want to do a confession, all right? I want to do a confession with you guys, and I want you to repeat after me. Repeat after me, all right? Here we go. Yes, I am weird. Oh, I love it. I love it. And the reason why I want you to say it, because I want you to get used to saying it from a space where you don't judge it and from a space where you don't allow the judgments of others to hinder you from expressing your weirdness, all right? Or you're weird. Express it, baby. Express it. Here's number two. I will no longer run from my weird. We spend so much time running from it. I'm not running from it anymore. I will not attempt to modify my behavior as an attempt to prove that I am not weird. Man, I spent the bulk or majority of my 20s, well, up to my 20s attempting to, up to my 30s, attempting to explain to people that I am not weird, all right? I will not alter my thoughts, decisions, opinions, likes, dislikes, desires, nor actions to attempt to prove to anyone that I am not weird. I own my weird. I embrace my weird. I define my weird, and that's why we're doing this acronym today. I'm going to give you an acronym that works for me. You might develop your own acronym. Whatever it is that you do Develop it. Put it on a t-shirt. Put it on your wall. Put it on your car. Put it everywhere that you go. Let everybody know just how weird and amazing you really are, okay? I own it. I embrace it. I define it. I love my weird because I love me. I love my best self, and I cannot love me or my best self without loving the fact that what? I am weird. And today, or beginning today, I will utilize my weird within my purpose. Some of you have been standing outside of your purpose. You've been standing outside of your business. You've been standing outside of whatever it is that you've been standing. Some of you are standing outside of your own life because you haven't embraced the weird. Get wrapped up in it. All right. So let's go. Let's go. I already asked the question, have you ever called yourself or, anyone else ever called you weird? We already dealt with that. Okay. So let's look at the definition of the word weird. Okay. Let's look at the definition. Strikingly odd or unusual, especially in unsettling ways. Strange. All right. From that definition, I can understand why some of us might be apprehensive about it. But when I begin to really think about it, I was like, that is me. And we always talk about unique abilities. We talk about separating ourselves from the pack and what is it that's our competitive edge? What is it that sets us apart from others? Yet here we are attempting to not embrace that which sets us apart. Embrace it. All right. We're going to embrace it today. All right. Suggestive of supernatural or suggestive of the supernatural. I'm trying to move quickly and it sounds like I can't even speak on today. Maybe that's a little weird for me. How about that? I promise you. Here we go. So it's suggestive of the supernatural. Maybe we're too busy trying to be natural or normal when we have supernatural abilities within each and every one of us. What is your superpower? I'm going to ask each and every one of you. You can share below if you want to, or you can just think about it. What is your superpower? I just recorded a podcast earlier today, and the host was commenting me on my voice. She was saying how my voice was so soothing that many times she was forgetting to unmute herself to speak. And I had to laugh about that because one of the things that I have struggled with a lot of times in my life over the years is my voice. But I can now say with a surety that I understand that my voice is my superpower. My voice is my superpower. And I used to think that when I spoke, I sounded weird. I thought at times I looked weird. I thought the way that my mind operated was weird. And instead of embracing and owning that, what I did was I started to run from it. But now that's why I'm saying I'm at this space. We're at this space and we are going to embrace it. So let's get to the acronym. All right. Let us all get to this wonderful acronym. All right. Is anybody enjoying this? I'm enjoying myself already. I'm really enjoying myself talking about this, okay? So again, I had the conversation with my friend. From that, I developed the acronym. Didn't know exactly what I was going to do with the acronym. I said, well, maybe it's a book because I'm an author. So, I was like, okay, maybe I'll turn this into a book. But didn't he really think to turn it into a book? I said, I'm going to turn it into a talk. I'm going to turn it into a t-shirt. I'm going to turn it into a declaration. I'm going to turn it into everything possible until I get enough creators to embrace the uniqueness of who they are. Your business will be more successful. Your life will be more fulfilled when you understand that weird is a part of your identity. And you don't need to leave it home anymore. You don't need to leave it home anymore. It needs to come with you to the boardroom. It needs to come with you in your creative process. It needs to come with you in your everyday movements. Allow that weird to come. Now, as I said, we're going to get to the acronym, but I really want to lay the foundation. I had a phone call about 1:45 this morning. I usually don't answer phone calls that late, but it was a classmate of mine from high school, and we still remain good friends, but he was calling me. My father passed away last September, and him and my father were close. My father, took him in as a son. And he was talking to me about my podcast, and he was talking to me about just who I am. And he said, Cliff, I don't ever want you to change who you are. He said, I've rocked with you from the beginning, and I will continue to rock with you because you are who you are. And what's amazing about that is in my life, I've had a lot of people tell me that, but I've had very few tell me that, from back in the day. And it really made me begin to think about it. He started sharing some things with me about his son and other things that where I've helped him, embrace some things concerning his son because of how open I am with my weird, how open I am with the totality of who I am. And that's why we don't understand when it comes to community. Our communities hurt when we don't allow ourselves to be. Our communities suffer when we don't allow ourselves to be. I am a person that usually everything I did graphically and in life is black and white. Okay. I always did everything black and white. It was like plain. I never wanted to be the one to stand out. But inside of me, all of these colors were running wild inside of me. All of these colors were running wild inside of me. Even with my business, all of my marketing material were black and white. I never allowed myself to step out and just play, to step out and explore. As I say, go Dora the Explorer on them. I never allowed myself to do any of that. Some of you might say, what does this have to do with being weird? I had to get to a space where I allowed myself to play with colors and to play with the creative process to the point where my weirdness no longer felt like a stranger in the room, or my weirdness no longer felt like they had to go in the corner and feel guilty whenever it had an idea or was attempting to bring forth something creative. It was trying to bring forth something creative. It was trying to bring forth something creative. So let's go. All right. The first letter of the word weird starts with the letter W. W. Okay. The first word for the acronym is the word woke. The word woke. Now, some may be familiar with this term being woke. I think it was 1860 around the presidential election. It started to deal with social justice issues. I promise you, we are not here to talk about social justice on tonight, even though there's something that is very prevalent and important to me. And I believe that we need to be woke in relationship to everything going on around our world. However, one of the worst things that we can do is be woke in relationship to everything going on around us, but be asleep in relationship to everything going on in us. This woke talks about a wokeness that's connected to who you are. How aware of you are you? How aware of your likes, your dislikes, just simple things. How aware are you of those inside of the things inside of you? How is your relationship with yourself? How good is your relationship with yourself? I went through a divorce, and one of the most eye-opening things with me as it related to my divorce was that there was a lot of things that I didn't know if I liked nor disliked because I had become so used to doing things as a team. I was used to doing things as a team. So I had to relearn myself and redevelop a relationship with myself and redevelop a relationship even with my weird, because I found during those times were some of the greatest times that I suppressed some of those creative ideas and creative juices that I had. Now, listen to this. The term here expresses the importance of being woke in relationship to your life, your purpose, your destiny, your health and wellness, and your wholeness. Now, when I talk about health and wellness, I talk about wholeness in all core areas of our lives. That's right. Wholeness in all core areas of our lives. If I ask you, how whole are you in all core areas of your life? What would your response to me be? Now, some of us may not even look at some of the areas of our lives as health areas. So I want to hit the 7 core areas that I live by, the 7 core areas that I live by. I think it was Zig Ziglar that came up with the will where I got these from, all right? First of all, it is your spiritual health, all right? Then your mental health, your physical health, your health as far as in relationship to your family, your health in relationship to finances, your health in relationship to your social interactions and social relationships, and your health as it relates to your career or entrepreneurship. Those are the 7 core areas that I want us to make sure that we are woke in, Now, I always start from these 3. Your spiritual, your mental, and your physical. Why? Because they directly affect you first. And if we can get you whole and thinking whole and acting whole in those core areas, then everything else will follow. Everything else will follow. They will follow. So I want you to think about that. Woke in that relationship to you, okay? How woke are you in relationship to you? How woke are you, as I said, in relationship to the areas of your health? Now, woke is the past tense of the word wake, all right? Now, let's look at the word wake. To be brought into a state of awareness and alert. How aware and alert are you about you? Many of us are aware and alert about a lot of people, a lot of things. We're just aware of a lot of stuff, but many times we're not aware of ourselves. How aware are you of you? Think about that thing. And I know you're probably saying you keep repeating that, and I am repeating that because I want to drive that thing home. I want us to understand that this conversation is about us being aware of ourselves. Aware of ourselves. I want you to be aware of yourself. All right, let's keep going. To be brought into a state of awareness, okay, and alertness, okay. How aware are you as it relates to your weird and the connection between your weird and your purpose? Here's another definition of wake. To steer from a dormant or inactive position. To steer from a dormant or inactive position. Steering you up from producing in a space that is disrespectful to your creation and purpose. I wrote a book called From Stagnation to Transformation. One of the definitions of stagnation that I had, because sometimes we define stagnation as not producing, but I view stagnation as when we produce at a level or in a dimension that is disrespectful to our purpose, to our creation. This is what being woke does. It stirs you from that space and reminds you. Y'all, have you ever watched The Lion King when Mufasa, and I did good this time, usually I'd be like, when Scar told Simba, no, when Mufasa told Simba, remember who you are? That's what being woke does. It ignites something inside of you to remind you not of who you possibly could be, but it reminds you of who you are. It reminds you of who you are. All right, 3 things to relate to the term woke. All right, here we go. I will make sure that I am aware and prepared. I want you to make that declaration for yourself. I will make sure that I am aware and prepared. I'm taking back the responsibility of me being. Take back that responsibility in your life. So you're going to be aware, you're going to be prepared, and you're going to take back the responsibility of you being your best self. All right. Number 2, I will educate myself. Now, we have more access to educational tools than any generation that came before us. We are only a conversation with Siri or Bixby or Alexa or Google or any other one out there, a way of finding out information. Now, what I always encourage people to do is don't settle for one source. Continue to dig and dig and dig so that you make sure that you've mastered that area that you have been seeking education in. Okay. You don't have to pay for a college degree. You don't have to do any of those. We have YouTube University. And I'm not speaking against college, but what I'm saying is we have to eliminate every excuse that we use not to be educated or not to educate ourselves. Take the responsibility for your education. No longer value or no longer sleep on your own value. No longer sleep on your own value. Now, I know a lot of people be like, I'm tired of people sleeping on me and they don't see the value in me and they don't know how awesome and amazing I am. But the reality is many times we're projecting that on them, as opposed to projecting the awesomeness that we are, projecting the greatness that we are, and projecting our value. It is okay to project your value. It is okay to project your value. All right. Earlier, I stated that woke was the past tense of the word wake. All right. And the reason why I want to bring that back up is because there's a reality that we are getting to our best self, not something that's a future self of us. We're getting back to our original self. We're getting back to who we were created, purpose, and designed to be. That is our best self. When we embrace the totality of who we are. That's why I need you to embrace your weird. I need you to embrace your attitude. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't fine tune some things, but we don't leave it at home. We don't leave that thing at home anymore. We don't leave it in the car. We don't leave it in the parking lot. We don't leave it outside the room. We bring all of us with it and we show up as our best self. So that first word is woke. So we are going to be woke in relationship to who we are, in relationship to our weirdness, in relationship to the amazing being that we have been created to be. All right, let's keep moving. Next, we have the letter E. I chose the word empowered. I am woke and I am empowered. Now, I know some of you might say, I thought having an education background, you would choose the word educated. Education is a part of empowerment. Education in its purest form means to pull out, or to pull up, to pull up. When I educate you, I'm not giving you anything that you don't know. I'm pulling up out of you everything that is needed for you to produce presently, for you to be here presently. I'm pulling it out of you. I'm pulling it out of you. And that is so powerful to pull it out of you. But empowerment takes it to the next level. What's her name? Beyonce said, take it to another level. No passengers on my plane. Take it to another level. No passengers on my plane. We don't have time to bring those negative thoughts, that negative energy, those negative concepts, those limiting belief systems with us when we are empowered. Why? Because empowerment steps beyond education. It's more than information. Now what happens is now you have been validified or you have been verified to now not just be educated, but take that education and spread it. And spread it and spread it. You now have the authority to do so. Why? Because you've been empowered to do so. I am empowered as it relates to my weirdness. As a matter of fact, it is my weirdness that empowers me. Let's hit some of these notes just to make sure I got everything that I want to get out of this section. Okay. No, you might not have thought I was okay. I already hit that. Here we go. Let's hit some of these definitions. I already talked about that. Batman. Matter of fact, we don't need to hit anything. I hit it. I just want you to know that you are empowered. You are empowered to be everything that you were created and designed to be. So we are just waiting for you to be. All right. So that's the second word. That's the second word. That's the second word. That's the second word. Now let's go on to the next word, the letter I. Now this is where I am most sensitive. Okay. I really am most sensitive here. And here's why I'm most sensitive. The word for the letter I is intelligent. It's intelligent. It is intelligent. And I know that is a hard pill to swallow for some of us. Why? Because some of us for years have been told we're stupid. We've been told we're not smart. We've been told we're not enough. We've been measured against somebody else. We've had experiences with those things. And guess what? We have been guilty of putting those measurements on ourselves as well. We always look at intelligence through one dimension when intelligence is multidimensional. We always look at it in one dimension. We think about the kid that got the score on the test that messed up the curve for everybody in the classroom. We were mad with him. Sometimes I was that kid, sorry. But we were mad with that kid because we understood that the teacher would have had compassion on us if that kid hadn't tried to outshine us. But we didn't understand that all that was going on was that kid was exercising their intelligence in that subject because they have some areas in their life that they aren't as confident in as well. But we looked at, that's the kid that's intelligent. No, we all have individual or our personal intelligence. One of my friends, my brothers, Elliot Carlisle, the brand, the voice, one of the things that he says is that we all have divine intelligence. That is an intelligence that is connected uniquely to us. So you might say, well, Cliff, I hear what you're saying. I hear you calling me intelligent, hypothetically here. I hear you call me intelligent, but I keep making dumb decisions. I keep making dumb decisions. And the reality is that sometimes what has happened is we've put that energy out that attracts those type of decisions. What are you saying, Cliff? We don't acknowledge our intelligence. We have succumbed and submitted to those who have called us dumb. We've called ourselves dumb. So what do you think is going to be the result of that? Anytime we buy into something, that's what's going to manifest in our lives. Why? Because we don't trust ourselves. We don't trust our intelligence. We trust everybody else's intelligence. And then sometimes we don't even understand that those people that we're trusting their intelligence, I'm going to let you in on a secret. They don't even trust their intelligence. They don't even trust their intelligence, but they trust you telling them that they are intelligent. So, Cliff, what are you saying? We have to begin to rewrite the story. We have to change the narrative. We have to flip the script. We have to do whatever it is, however you identify it. Y'all, what was that? I don't know what that's a part of my weirdness manifesting. We have to begin to take back control over that thing and understand that you have a unique intelligence. You have a unique intelligence. Now, Cliff, I hear what you're saying, but you don't know me. So you can't tell me I'm intelligent. Okay, no problem. Hey, I have no problem. I'm going to prove to you just how intelligent you are. Here's the definition of intelligence. Displaying qualities or intelligence. The definition of intelligence. Displaying qualities of being intelligent. The definition of intelligent. You have the ability to acquire, understand, and use knowledge. You have the ability to acquire, understand, and use knowledge. If you complete those 3 steps, you, my friend, are intelligent. You, my friend, are intelligent. So I guess I could use a couple examples here. Let me use a couple of examples here. Say you're driving, and for a lot of men, this is going to be a rough subject for, okay? Say you're driving, and now you find yourself, even though you knew where you were going, even though you've never been there before, it's an unfamiliar state, unfamiliar town, unfamiliar city. It's just unfamiliar. You don't know where you're going, but you feel as if you know where you're going. All right. So now you have circled the same block 15 times, and whoever's riding with you starts to say, listen, I don't think we know where we're going. You have the ability now to exercise your intelligence. Okay. Step one to being intelligent is to what? What was step one? To acquire information. So depending on what type of GPS you have, you can talk or type in the address. All right. So now you have acquired the address. All right. Acquire it. Now you're looking at it. You're seeing the roadmap of it. You're moving with the directions. So now you understand it. You understand it. You understand it. Now you take that understanding, you apply that understanding, or you apply that knowledge, you use that knowledge. After all this extra time, now you make it to your destination. You were intelligent for understanding that I need assistance in this area, and you applied the assistance that you received in that area, and now the result works out differently. You displayed intelligence. That is intelligence. I have another example, because some of you might say, I don't know about all that, Cliff. I don't know about all that. Okay, no problem. Here we go. I have a second one. 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 All right, here we go. Let me get to it. Do I have a second one? Maybe I don't have a second one. I only wrote down one. I thought I wrote down two, but I only wrote down one. But I think that driving exam, oh, nope, here it is. We're in school. We have a subject that is just challenging us. It's stretching us in ways that we have never been stretched before. So we get a low score on a test. Now we have one or two options. We can continue in the way that we are going, or we can acquire assistance through a tutor. All right. So we acquire that assistance. All right. We're going to use that assistance. We're going to put it to work, that knowledge. Now we find ourselves displaying intelligence. Intelligence. A tutor is only reminding you of what you already know. Only reminding you of what you already know. So you, my friend, are intelligent. You just have to allow yourself to be intelligent, and you have to stop buying in to those negative things that you said about yourself and that others have said about you. You are divinely intelligent. You are uniquely intelligent. You are intelligent, and there's a whole world waiting for your intelligence. My question to you is, are you going to allow the world to experience your intelligence, or are you just going to sleep on yourself? And I already know you're not going to sleep on yourself. That's just not happening, okay? So let's keep going. We have two more words, y'all, and I am out of your way. Do you hear me? I am out of your way with two more words. The next word is radiant. Radiant. I don't know if we have any Rihanna fans in here, but she wrote a song called Shine. I don't know if it's called Shine Bright Like a Diamond or not, but she encouraged us to shine bright like a diamond. All right. You were called, created, and purposed to shine, to stand out, to stand out. I shared that with you guys. I did everything within my power not to stand out. 15 years ago, you wouldn't have seen me doing this. I'd be in the background helping, encouraging, and pushing others to do it, but you wouldn't see me doing things like this because I did everything in my power not to stand out. everything in my power not to stand out. Even these colors on here, you wouldn't see me with these colors on here. You would see me. I have a black and white one of this. You would see me with the black and white on. I just did not want to do anything to stand out, to draw attention. But I wasn't realizing that that's what I was created for. Not that the attention being drawn to me is the most important thing, but the most important thing is why the attention is drawn to me. And the reality is the attention is drawn to me because inside of me is something that can unlock those things that you've locked up inside of you to remind you just how radiant, beautiful you are. You are beautiful. One of my favorite movies is Inside Out. I don't know if any of you have seen I think it's Disney, with the little girl. And it shows you all of her emotions and what's going on with them. But anyway, I love that movie. And I really feel that's a movie that a lot of people need to experience for themselves, so you can see sometimes what it looks like within our mind. But I also look at our personality as a bird. Okay. Now I'm going to tell you, close your eyes. Okay. And I want you to think about a bird with their arms closed. Okay. A bird with their arms closed. Now, a bird isn't going to be able to do much with their arms closed at all. All right. Now I want you to think about that bird slowly spreading its wings. Slowly spreading its wings. Now, I want to ask you a question. You can put it in the comment or you can just think about it. What color was the bird that you saw? Okay. Now, I asked that question because when I first started this exercise, the color of the bird that I saw was black and white. And I saw the black and white spread out. But the more I became in touch with my uniqueness, my weirdness, my creativity, I saw this beautiful, colorful, like rainbow type bird, and it spread itself out. And when it spread itself out, all of the colors coming together and complementing each other were so beautiful. And the more that they spread, the more that bird commanded that area. And it began to show just how beautiful the bird was inside and out. Everything that it had covered up and restrained for so long now was exposed. And I understand that being radiant makes us vulnerable. And I understand that being vulnerable is not comfortable. It's not comfortable. But the reality is that there is a space of vulnerability that we have to get to as a creator, where we allow ourselves to be shown in ways that others may not allow themselves to be shown in. I desire for you to be radiant. I want you to be radiant. I want you to shine like you've never shined before. But it's all connected to embracing your weird. What's the last word? Demonstrative. I am demonstrative. And you probably can see just how demonstrative I am with my voice, with my hands. I am animated. And you probably would be surprised if you see me outside of spaces like this, because I'm very quiet. But I have learned how to be demonstrative. Why? Because sometimes people need that demonstration to understand that it's just okay to be. It is okay to be. Your demonstration of being you will cause others to be comfortable in demonstrating being themselves. And that's something that I had to learn. I had to learn it, or I had to remember it. I don't want to use that word learn. I want to use that word remember. Remember who you are. I had to remember it. The word demonstrative means to show something clearly or deliberate, to cause to manifest. I am deliberate about how I present myself. Now, if you follow me on social media, you'll see I play a lot. You'll also see I post a lot of touchy situations. My posts are touchy, or my posts deal with a lot of touchy situations. And I'm going to tell you why I do that. And this is me being demonstrative. I like to stir the pot, but the only reason why I like to stir the pot is for the purpose of conversation. You see how demonstrative and intentional I am as a conversationalist. I like to stir the pot because what I learned early on in stirring the pot is that people who would not normally have a conversation with me are now comfortable in having conversation with me. People who would not have conversation about some of the subjects they had conversations about were not comfortable about having those conversations, but now they are comfortable with having those conversations. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes, not just for them to get to a space of being comfortable with who they are, but to make sure that I maintain the space of who I am. I maintain the space of who I am. So when I open up my mouth to speak, I'm woke. When I open up my mouth to speak, I am empowered. When I open up my mouth to speak, I have a unique intelligence. When I open up my mouth to speak, I speak with such radiance and such beauty that it captivates and draws you in. And that it is demonstrative in the sense of it doesn't just demonstrate who I am, but it becomes the demonstration of your best self. Your best self. So today, my encouragement to each and every one of you is that you embrace your weird. And don't be ashamed of defining it as weird. Excuse me. Some people say you just need to call it unique. You're not weird. You're unique. No, I'm weird. I've taken ownership of it. I've created an acronym behind it. I've created a talk behind it. I've created a community behind it. Do you see where it can go when you're willing just to embrace the totality of who you are? Who you are. Who you are can take you to places and spaces that who you know can. Now, I know a lot of people talk about it's important in who you know, and I'm big on networking, guys. Hey, we're here at the conference. I believe in networking, but my prayer or my, I'm not going to say hope, my desire is that we all get to a space that when we show up to network, we show up as ourselves. Why? Because if I'm networking with you, you show up as yourself, then it's going to be what exactly I need for that moment, and vice versa. Vice versa. It won't be so much trying to feel each other out and figure that thing out because we showed up as who we are. And when we show up as who we are, we understand that we are the answer that houses the solution. Thank each and every one of you for joining me on tonight or listening to the replay. Listen, I have a tool that I believe will help you along your journey from stagnation to transformation. You can find it on my website. There also, if you're listening to this talk, I give you a preview of that book on that website as well. So I want you to check it out. If you find yourself in a space and you're saying, Cliff, I can identify with being weird, but I don't know what to do with my weird or how to communicate my weird or how to tie my weird into who I am, then we need to have a conversation. So I need you to visit www.coachclifton.com. I want you to set up a complimentary call. That's right. The call is complimentary with no strings attached. I want you to set that up so that even if that's our last conversation, we leave that conversation knowing that you are embracing your weird. Thank you again for joining us on tonight, today, whenever you're listening to the replay tonight, today, whenever you're listening to the replay. Yeah, y'all, I like the flow a little bit. I can't sing, barely got any rhythm, but I do like to play. So again, I thank each and every one of you. Embrace your weird. Be all that you've been created, purpose, and designed to be. And I promise you, you will not just have a successful life, but your life will be fulfilled.